Oh, hello, friends. It's me, Jen de la Vega, your friend. How you doing? Welcome back to Attack the Pantry. This stream is a deep dive into ingredients, cooking techniques, and recipes to help you cook for yourself during our ongoing indoor situation, as well as the rest of your adult life. Say hello and throw us an egg in the chat if you like what you're seeing or hearing throughout the show. That is how we express love and affection around here. We love eggs. Last time on Attack the Pantry, what did I do? Did I make a bunch of steam buns? I think that's what happened. Did I make a bunch of banchan? I think that's also what happened. Did I cut a bunch of mushrooms? Yeah, there was a lot of that too. You can watch all the past clips here on my channel if you click on videos, and the entire archive is located at youtube.com/JENNDLV. I'll put the link on the screen for you. Look at that. Oh, look at that. Hey, Cats is in the chat. It's been 24 C's in the chat. Hello, how you doing? Hello, how you doing? Thanks for joining. Where was I? Oh, yes. Business. Always have to mention the business. I am a Twitch affiliate. That means if you subscribe to this channel, I get a little pocket change to make the show a little bit better. Or the secret hack, the backdoor situation. If you have Amazon Prime, you can gift a free subscription to your favorite creators every month. So if you have one, click on that purple button that says gift a sub, and you can get a little crown next to your name in the chat. That's so nice, isn't it? But there are lots of really good links below the video to interact with me on the internet and to support all the things that we do here. Feel free to open another tab and look at all that stuff. Anyway, there is a reason we are celebrating today, and I'm so excited to tell you that I brought a friend to stream with me today. Please welcome my friend, Alicia.
Hi, Jen.
Hi, Alicia. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am so stoked to talk to you about our big project we've been working on for over a year and a half.
It's a really exciting one, I think. So
I want to think of a world where there are lots of people excited about learning about words.
I think people just don't realize how excited they are yet. That's how I like to think of it.
That's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. Oh, I forgot. I didn't put on some music. I'm going to put on some music real quick. Lo-fi beats for us all to enjoy. But folks, the reason why I've invited Alicia here on the show today is because we launched a podcast today. We launched Culinary Word of the Day, Season 2. It's 20 episodes. They're all under 5 minutes or around the 5-minute mark. And it's basically a Word of the Day podcast, but it's all culinary words. So check it out. It's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I believe it's hit all the feeds by now. I think I submitted it at Simplecast this morning at like 8 a.m. And so they've been slowly making their way around the world through fiber optic cables to all of your ears. Let us know in the chat if you have listened to it already. We released 3 new episodes today, all at once. But every Wednesday we'll be releasing one episode a week. Plus, we started a new behind-the-scenes podcast called Excelente, which is, a play on excelente, but excellent means things that are edible.
Yep. It's not a word I really knew beforehand, so it is good to redefine it. I think every so often, just to make sure it sticks in my head. Totally.
Yeah, just thumbtack it.
Gotta be
in there. But yeah, it's been a cool journey, and I don't know. I don't think a lot of people know who you are because you have not been on this show before.
I have not. I haven't really delved into your culinary world with you outside of our background research.
Yeah. And you haven't really streamed either before.
No, this is all very new to me. So if I seem a little awkward, I apologize now.
It's okay.
I like it. I like the dancing. That's making me feel very comfortable, though. That's not even sarcasm. That's complete truth. I'm like, okay, that's what's acceptable in this platform. That's great.
The way that I explain it to people who have never streamed before, it is just a conversation between you, me, and the chat.
I like that. Okay, fair
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah. They're nice people, right? Right?
You know
Right,
what?
cats? Are you a nice person? There are nice people in the chat.
So I helped you out with doing the research for the words.
Mm-hmm.
So I did pretty much, I like to find out where the words came from, what language they may have started out in before they kind of reached English.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe if they hit any other countries really before they hit wherever their home country ended up, if that makes a lot of sense. So some words in English we know in our American lingo pretty well. Other words have crossed over and retranslated themselves. So I kind of delved into that a lot. And then sort of you and I a little bit together came up on the best way to describe how they were used, I think, in the final definition. I came up with a couple of different ways people talked about it, and you sort of took your chefiness and put it in there.
My chefiness. I like that. But I think what's so magical about our collaboration is that you yourself have a huge interest in words and history.
Yeah, so I studied, my undergrad was in European studies, but it was a focus on the German language and how it sort of evolved from like the 1800s up into, well, a little bit before the 1800s, up until it became quote unquote High German and the finalized language of the unified country. So it was the evolution of that language mixed in with a little bit of how the English language evolved. And a little French mixed in there, just like a little bit, amount of French. So how words sort of evolved and became dictated almost or regulated as part of like the mainstream culture in a country, I thought was fascinating. That certain things were just normal every day, and then 10 years later they're like, you know what, we're going to study like this one language. This is going to be the high language. Everyone's going to learn this in textbooks. I'm like, wow, is that really how language is formed? Not quite, but it's an interesting way to think about it.
Yeah. We've discovered a lot of really interesting things that line up with history and like colonization especially. And it's just fascinating. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, you took it. And just a little bit about how culture forms and where some of the things cross over and stay, because a lot of things sort of transverse like the human experience. There are certain things, especially when it comes to cooking, like a universal unifier is food. So it was funny to see it kind of over the last year and a couple of months or whatever, how many different arenas of cooking really have roots in the same place or different places, but come together in their own cultural way across seas, lands, whoever brings them there. So that's been kind of interesting, I think.
Yeah, like I think we discovered something really surprising about Portugal recently.
Yes.
I don't remember the context of our conversation. Do you remember?
I do, actually, because this is like a fun one. So we were talking about tempura. So it all started.
Yes.
So it started with some looking up ramen and a couple other noodle dishes, and then one of the fun things about it also is when we find one word that branches out into like a bunch of other words. We're like, oh, right, we should now look into
the Japanese menu.
Yes, and like make sure we define miso and all these other things. And so tempura got put on that list. So I started looking into tempura somewhat briefly, only to discover that yes, it's a Japanese dish, but it does come from a lot of other places. It comes from actually Portugal because of the Portuguese colonists or colonizers, I don't know how we want to phrase that, but when they were out about sailing the world and taking over other places, let's phrase it that way, they brought their own food with them. And one of the foods was fried green beans.
That's right. It was because fried green beans.
Yeah, during Lent in Portugal, you could only eat certain foods. And one of them was like they could eat greens, but they would fry them to make them taste better.
Like meat, have that savoriness as meat.
Exactly.
That was the reasoning, I think.
Yeah. And so there's I think it comes from like the Latin root is a temporal word, meaning time of Latin, something like that. It's around there. It's like a Latin root. And that's where tempura comes from.
It's so fascinating. Just from watching, I've been watching a lot of anime. It's no secret to a lot of people who watch this stream that I watch a lot of anime. But there is this notion of, there's Japanese cuisine, or what the rest of the world thinks is Japanese cuisine. But in Japan specifically, there's Western cuisine. So items that were sort of brought to Japan, but the world thinks is Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
Like Hamburg steak is from Hamburg,
Mm-hmm.
but it's, you know, it's like it's served more like a Salisbury steak. It's not eaten between buns,
Right.
but it still comes from Germany. But people think it's a Japanese dish. So there's like this Western category of Japanese cooking, which is fascinating. So tempura counts as that.
Yeah, that's interesting. I actually didn't realize how extreme it might be in Japan. So clearly that's something I want to look into for this.
Yeah,
Like,
see?
this is like a further conversation that. So, you know, I don't necessarily have a culinary background, but the interesting way food has like its own roots fascinates me to no end. So
I have a question. So in your year and a half of intense study of these words with me, have you gotten bolder in the kitchen? Or more adventurous?
yes, totally have.
That rules.
A little bit because I've been we did a lot of food safety stuff. So I'm like, oh, like I'm probably not going to set this on fire today. So I've gotten a little bolder in that sense. But definitely, so that's so like listen onward, because like for food safety things, if you have any questions, I make sure that we talk about that a lot. Because I was curious. But definitely understanding how to mix things together.
Oh yeah.
That was one thing that I definitely or trying new things or seeing something in the supermarket that I wouldn't have necessarily like learned about or read about or even would have caught my eye before. I'm like, oh,
we talked about that the other day.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. It was actually I'm trying to think. It was one of the Indian spices. It starts with an A. I'm blanking on it now.
Asafoetida?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
And that is like such a fun one. And I think I had grabbed it before we started this, but I had been hesitant to use it until we talked about it a little bit more and like I understood more of what it was. But it's a fun little spice.
Yeah, also known as hing powder. It is, it always adds a little pinch in every Indian recipe that I've seen. Mm-hmm. There's always like one pinch of it. It can be quite strong, so it's not something that you dump, you know, or shake the bottle over a dish.
Mm-hmm. So that was the fun one to be like, that's an adventurous like last step in cooking that I would have never taken at all.
Oh, very proud of you. Very, very proud of you.
It's all to you, Jen. It's all to you.
Oh, yeah. Here, from 24C really likes your word chefiness. Aww. It's a good new word for me.
I think it should be in a bio somewhere.
Chefiness. I bless you with my chefiness.
I love it.
Let's rewind, though. We were talking about the podcast and just sort of the nuts and bolts of doing it every week. Yeah. But you and I go back actually a bunch of years.
We
do.
And
it wasn't this podcast.
No. So you and my now husband worked together.
Yes.
And you may need to actually clarify that timeline because I was like, it might be close to 10 years that I've known you. I'm not, it might be that long. I've been with Sky for a very long time.
No, yeah. Okay. So I remember I left, or there was a big change in my company in 2014. So 2012-ish, I think, is when I met Sky.
So we
maybe?
Probably.
I'll have to look at LinkedIn, our favorite. This is a joke between Sky and I. I don't know. We've known each other for many years and we've worked at a few companies together. And we always thought that it would be funny if Sky made LinkedIn a dating website. Or if we made a dating website where you had your SSO, your login was a LinkedIn profile.
Your LinkedIn profile. I like that. That is really funny.
It's so funny. I mean, because we know the kinds of people who would connect over that.
I was about to say, I do know one or two people who have started using LinkedIn to slide into people's DMs. And like, I know, and they're the exact type of people who like you can picture in your head. They're those like you already know who I'm talking about. Like you met them, you've worked with them.
Those kinds of people.
Yeah. And it's a pandemic thing. It's something about the pandemic that changed the way that people viewed LinkedIn. I don't know how that transpired. Pros and cons for LinkedIn.
I don't know what it is, but also I know from the inside that LinkedIn is stepping up their game.
They are, yeah.
They are. They're creating more resources and tools for people to create content on LinkedIn. So it's like they're, you know how they tried to do like copy medium with like essays or like thought leadership stuff. Mm-hmm. So they're trying out more of that.
Are they
and
actually
supporting video and like
are they
more
trying
photo
to
stuff.
like a dating service though? Or are they
Not a
actually
dating service. No, not a dating service.
I just had to double check. I had to double check.
That will always be Sky's idea.
His
That
brainchild of
Yeah, it's
10 years
Sky's
ago.
idea. Every time somebody mentions anything about hitting on anyone on LinkedIn, I always think of Sky. Sometimes I text him and I'm like, that idea is really funny. You should do it.
Yeah, let's just see what happens. It's so good.
I'm looking back, and I met Sky in April of 2013. So next
Okay.
year it will be 10 years of knowing you guys.
Wow.
Wow.
That's crazy. That's really crazy, actually.
That. Yeah. So I used to work. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people who watch this show, that I used to work in tech. I used to be a social media manager. I love working with creators and being around creative people. So that shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, really. But that's where I met Sky. And then Sky introduced me to Alicia. And 2 years ago, I released the first set of episodes of Culinary Word of the Day. So I worked on the first season by myself. It was definitely like a pandemic project. I had the Simplecast account and then let it bill me for like months before I even released an episode. But I finally did it, and as soon as I released the first season, I was like, oh crap, I'm getting real work again. And so I couldn't really focus on it 24/7 like I did before. I just had time to like record and research and edit all by myself, but not anymore. And so thankfully, I put out a call online. I'm looking for a helper. You must love words. You don't mind research. Just light work, a couple hours a week. And then Sky reached out to me and was like, who'd be good for this? Who would be good for this? And it was Alicia.
And it worked out. Yeah, I was trying to I was switching up what I was doing, and I had left a workspace that was like sort of creative, and then I moved into another one that's still somewhat creative, but not as much. And I was just like, I need something. I want to just be a nerd a little bit.
Yeah.
And I haven't been like a nerd. I haven't been like, we're in the pandemic. I really haven't I had friends at work, like the previous place I worked, that were also sort of nerdy. So I had like an outlet to talk about not weird stuff, but like, oh, I got really into da-da-da this week. And like, did you hear about this wife of like this person from like 1872? And like, I had people to actually talk about that with, which sort of went away. So with like, when I heard the opportunity to do research on like the history of words, I was like, oh, thankfully, please let me add it. Like, I just need an outlet to like do some academic stuff. So
get your academic freak on.
Yeah, and like, even if Jen's not always as enthusiastic about the things that I get really interested in, she puts up with it. She definitely put up with it really,
I'm
really
not putting up with it. I'm right there with you, nerd.
You're always enthusiastic. No, you are.
Yeah.
So it's excellent.
Right there with you.
But definitely, it was an outlet that I was like in the pandemic looking for it, because I didn't really want to get into a wormhole online that I wasn't ready for. Maybe that's the best way to put that.
Sure.
Is that I hadn't really ever done like getting on social stuff to talk about this, talk about anything sort of serious before. So I was like, this is perfect. This is like a great way to like talk about this stuff with like a real person who I know. Who we could also talk about cartoons at the same time.
Totally.
Archer has fallen into this conversation more than once.
Archer is so relevant to an episode that is coming out.
It is, right.
Stir Friday.
Stir Friday.
Spoiler, there's an episode about stir fry on Culinary Word of the Day. Just catching up here in the chat. Hello, Night Sky. Welcome to the chat. Nice to meet you. Today we are talking about Culinary Word of the Day, which is a podcast that we launched today. It's available now on all your podcast platforms. And actually, let me quickly share my screen so that we can, I'll just give you a little tour of it. Let me see here. Share screen and a tabby. We're going to go to this tab. Cool. Alicia, you can still hear me and you can still talk?
Yep.
Cool. Great. So this is our website. It's culinarywotd.simplecast.com. And you can see our lovely description. Our logo was designed by Drip. DROMGP. That's her username on Twitch. She's a pixel artist based in Michigan. And we are very grateful to Rachel Viola for helping us with that. When you get to this page, you can either click on, you can listen up at the top. There's a play button at the top. Or you can scroll down and there's this listen on Apple Podcasts if that's what you use. Or you can click on this button that says listen and subscribe. And you can go to Spotify or whatever podcatcher that you use. You can also dive deep into each of the episodes. So let's look at number 14, Pinch. So we released 3 episodes today. And on this page, you can find a supporting article. Like we always have a further reading kind of, if you're interested in this word and you want to see how it's used more in like food media, we always include a link to something. We have all of our social stuff listed here. We also have a transcript. This is really cool. So you can click there and then you can read this instead, or go back and see what we said, and we link to all the articles that we cite in there. What else? Oh, this is a really cool feature. I don't know if everybody knows about this on Simplecast. So if any podcast is on Simplecast, you can click on this thing called Recast. And what it'll do is you can make your own social posts from a clip that you like from the podcast. So if you go to Recast, you can move this, you can extend it, you can hear the preview, and it'll create this cute little video for you with the logo and everything. So that's a really useful tool if you want to share clips of your favorite podcasts. What else? I don't know. Oh, submit a word. We have a link to a spreadsheet that you can click on there and you can fill it out. We'll credit you if we pick your word. We have a really big list, but we're open to your feedback. We're very, very excited.
All right. All new words are welcome.
Yeah, especially if they're relevant to the ones we've just published.
Totally. So if you think there's a connection or you heard a word that like could help the definition of another word move forward, that's like my dream, is to have this little like giant world of words that all connect to each other in the culinary multiverse.
Oh, let me tell you, folks, we have an Airtable database that is very long. It has like maybe 200 words so far that we're working on. And we've basically built a tagging system where we relate all the words to each other. So if we were to bring it up again, so for example, Maillard reaction comes up a lot whenever we deal with heat, we will reference it again. We will share that episode again when we get to stir fry, or if we get to roasting or broiling, that kind of stuff. So we always kind of try to reference the words back so that, really drives the point home for you. My goodness. Oh, hello. We've got some activity in the chat. Hey, Joseph. Good to see you. Uzver's here. Multiverse. Thank you for that. It's all right. No, you could stay. You can stay, Uzver. We like puns. It's true. Food talk is the best. I agree. And it is a wide world, wonderful world of wayward words. It's a lot of alliteration there. Thank you.
I love that. That's excellent.
Oh, and guess what? Our pixel artist who designed our logo for Culinary Word of the Day and the eggs in my Twitch channel is here. Say hi and follow Drip. Drip, are you back from London yet? Are you back from vacation? What's really cool about Drip's channel is she does a lot of pixel art and will stream the process with you. It's really amazing. And now she's also a tattoo artist. So if you're in her area, please hire Drip. Oh, you drank so much. Oh boy, that's what you do. Alicia, have you been out to the UK?
I have, yeah. I studied abroad in London, actually.
Oh.
A million years ago.
Where exactly in London?
In Kensington.
Oh, cool.
So it's sort of the Upper East Side of London.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it was definitely a culture shock. It was actually during the recession a little bit, so it was definitely a weird place to be.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was like a whole. It was before the Olympics, so I haven't been there since the Olympics. So I've got no idea what London's like now. But
My goodness. Folks, if you're just joining us, we are just having a little informal celebration for Culinary Word of the Day, which is a podcast that we launched this morning. And Alicia helps me research every episode. And it's really fun. We've been doing this for a year and a half and finally got to release 3 new episodes today. And so one episode is going to go up every Wednesday now. Actually, I didn't talk about this yet. We started the behind the scenes podcast called Excelente, and we wanted to create this new space, another podcast to talk more about the words, because Culinary Word of the Day is meant to be short and digestible. It's supposed to just be I honestly was inspired by the Merriam-Webster Word of the Day podcast. It's only 3 minutes long. It's just very monotone. It's just like very educational.
Mm-hmm.
But we wanted to do that, but also we had so many other questions. Like, I feel like every time we researched a word, 10 more questions would come up, or 10 more words that we would want to cover also came up. So we wanted to create a space where we could hash that out.
Yes.
I don't know, give more room for the words to breathe. Because it's not enough to just, read something from a dictionary or read something from an encyclopedia. All of these words have context.
Yeah.
And all of them have different situations where they're used. And I don't know, Alicia also has a lot of really cool cooking questions that have to do with the thing that we're discussing that day. So it's been really fun. And the format is, so for every 3 words that we release on the main feed of Culinary Word of the Day, you will also get a free bonus episode of us discussing those 3 words. So our first set is going to be pinch, saute, and what did I say? Maillard reaction. They're really important. So those 3 episodes went out today. And so next Wednesday, you'll hear us talk about those 3 words more in depth. I think the way that I phrased it in our biography is, what is it? Clips from the cutting room floor and exploring the humanity behind the words. Yeah. You could click on the link in the chat and read exactly what I said about it. But that podcast is more for us to like have fun and laugh about it and be a little less serious, because the actual main feed is so serious, I think.
Yeah.
I
think it's a good way to put it.
Yeah, it's great. It's been fun.
Totally.
I really enjoy A, your company, and B, the things you ask me.
I think, and it's also a lot of the questions, I think, so I'm obviously I'm not a chef, and I don't even claim to be a very good cook. So a lot of the questions really, I think, come from like trying to actually learn more about basic cooking and then just like moving it a little bit forward too. So I think
like a genuine curiosity.
Yes, there's an earnestness there. And I think it was like when I was researching the words, I had so many more questions for Jen, and we only had so many times to talk actually about definitions. I was like, I can ask you like a million more things about like how not to, if you're pinching and you oversalt, like what happens?
Yes.
Like how do I come back from that? Like, do I come back from that?
Yeah, this is a light preview of the conversation we had that's going up next Wednesday. Oh, Ash made you French-style eggs on your last day there. Are you talking about coddled eggs or baked eggs? Because French-style means many things. Oh, here. I'd be interested to see how the separate feeds works out for y'all. I've been considering doing something similar for Lore Club, which is Joseph's podcast. We're going to try labeling the chats as bonus episodes for now. Yeah, that's kind of what we're doing. They're not 2 different accounts, but yeah, we're numbering the word episodes, and then we're labeling the background conversation as bonus. So hopefully the feeds don't get confusing. I think it'll be regular enough, so it's going to be 3 episodes, chat show, 3 episodes, chat show, and so on and so forth. Oh, it was a long process. I wonder if it was slow scrambled eggs, which is really lovely. Worth the effort. Slow scrambled eggs.
See, I already have questions about that.
Yeah, so ask me questions. It's
Well,
totally fine.
how are they different than normal scrambled eggs? Why are they slowly made?
They are softer.
Mm-hmm.
They are a little wetter. And if you Google a Gordon Ramsay soft scrambled eggs video, he has a video where he's making it for his wife.
Okay.
And they take about 15-20 minutes.
Question, speaking of UK things, is that normally the type of scrambled eggs you get in the UK?
No.
Okay.
It's like an internet gourmet thing.
Oh, interesting.
But it's slowly stirring the eggs over lower heat so that they create more delicate curds, and it's softer, it's wetter, it's more luscious. And then toward the end of the cooking process, you stir in like a spoonful of creme fraiche or sour cream or yogurt to really lighten it up. And it's meant to be eaten with a lot of toast. So it's like kind of spreadable. Yeah. It's like nice and warm and delicate. Oh, yeah. Okay, so that's what you had. Okay, got it. I knew it. Boom.
See? And this is why we have the behind the scenes show, is because we get to these endpoints about the words.
Yeah.
We have to ask the questions and get there.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I love that. Hey, Jabroni Commander, welcome to the chat. Never thought I'd hear egg curds and luscious in the same sentence. I know what you mean. Here, let me find that video for you. Soft scramble. Yeah, there's a YouTube video. Here it is. I found it. I'll put the link in the chat for y'all.
I want to watch that later.
It's useful. I mean, it is very good, but it's time consuming.
I mean, it's a lovingly made egg situation.
Lovingly made eggs. We appreciate those here in this channel. My goodness. What else? Anybody in the chat have questions for us about culinary word of the day or cooking questions? Because I love answering those in general. What else was I going to say? So we have this background conversation podcast that we like doing now. And we have a database of words that we're going to be releasing every Wednesday from now on. Oh, I didn't say this. So season 1, I wanted to do a list of words that, I don't know, showed the breadth of culinary words. So I mean, they span across agriculture, cooking, trendy stuff, restaurant terms, and just kind of old school, like things you've used all the time. So for example, the very first episode is agronomy, which is the study of agriculture and seasonality.
Yes, that's a word.
Yes. We also have back of house, which is a restaurant term for the back of the inn.
That's one of my favorite ones, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I like
back
learning
of
about
house
that.
is really good.
Yeah.
We also have front of house. We also have an episode about fasting, which is not prescriptive in any way. I sort of did research about diets and then cultural use of fasting, and then making sure that we had disclaimers about, make sure that you talk to your general practitioner before you embark on any kind of diet, and so on and so forth. But yeah, season 1 had that kind of logic behind it. I just wanted to show the range of culinary words. But season 2 has a different kind of logic. It is 20 episodes in order of how you encounter them in the kitchen. I'm the only nerd who cares about that stuff.
No, I thought it was great. I thought it was excellent because once again, I did not know what the Maillard reaction was. Unfortunately,
it's very important.
Yeah.
I think what people are going to realize about season 2 is they are words that you used every day, but you didn't know. Like
Yep.
you didn't know that's what that was called.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think season 2 is I think it's going to be very informative because it's a lot of different things that, you may be doing all the time. But now you can put a name to a face, but you can also, if you really want to talk to all your friends or loved ones about it and be like, well, I just did a little Maillard reaction on the potatoes and just wanted to see what happened with that.
I just did a little Maillard reaction.
I don't know, it's the first thing.
That's not what we're
That's not how it's used.
Not proper usage. No, X. I whammy that one. I'm just kidding. I mean, it's okay.
You could say that. It would
you
just
could
be really
say that.
incorrect.
You'll just sound really dumb.
Yeah. So it depends on how you want to approach your life. It's fine.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Actually, this is so funny. My computer is on top of this book that I want to show you. Let me see if I can get it without knocking everything over. Oh, no.
It's an adventure right now. We're going on an adventure with you.
I forgot there's like another book underneath the computer. Here. Okay, we're getting... Oh, don't fall, computer. Okay. Merriam-Webster, new book of word histories.
Ooh.
Chris got this for me. I'm going to open up. Let's see. Okay. Katydid. See pigeon. Why is katydid related to pigeon? Now I want to know.
Yeah. No, we're all invested in this now.
What the hell? Pilgrim. Pigeon. Oh wow, this is a really long entry. Why? I'm only going to read the first paragraph. Some animal names, especially those of birds, have been created through onomatopoeia, or imitation of sound. Oh my god. Since bird songs are convenient ways of distinguishing the various species, they are often the source of birds' names. The Romans used the noun pipio for a young bird from the sound of its shrill piping cries. In Middle French, this became pigeon, which was borrowed into Middle English as pigeon. Although pigeons generally coo, their young squab can be heard piping, especially when hungry. Okay, cool. But why is katydid in here? I don't know why katydid is in here. I want to whippoorwill. Okay, wait a minute. The chuck-will's widow and the whippoorwill belong to a family of birds whose members are called goat-suckers. Goatsucker originated from the ancient belief that these wide-mouthed birds sucked milk from goats. Actually, they live by hunting for insects. What the hell?
You're gonna get lost in that book, man.
I know. Oh, here we go. The katydid, a grasshopper whose song "Katy did, Katy didn't" is also produced by rubbing its forewings together. Oh, interesting.
That's a great example, though, of how all the words... Well, the pigeon one, how it eventually got its name, is very interesting. How, once again, multiple different languages involved.
Mm-hmm.
But how all these little weird words are related to one another.
Oh my gosh. You're going to love the bracket underneath this. The bracket just has the shortcut word history and languages. So Middle English, pigeon, pigeon, pigeon. Middle French, pigeon, young bird, pigeon. Later Latin, pipio, young bird, pipere, to chirp. Akin to Latin pipare, to peep. Origin like Greek pipos and pipos with two P's. And Sanskrit, pipaka, a kind of bird.
Interesting.
Wow. Pigeon, who knew?
Who knew? Such a bold bird.
Such a bold bird. What a historic bird. Yeah, aviary word of the day. Thank you. And even more W. Whippoorwill is a good one. That's so funny. Like, the only place that I've ever heard the word whippoorwill out loud was in cartoons. Do you remember there was who was it, in Animaniacs?
I did not watch Animaniacs.
There was a song, "When the Whippoorwill, something, something, baby."
I don't know that one, but I don't think I've ever heard whippoorwill. It sounds like it would be a cartoon name, though.
It is very cartoony.
Yeah. But a lot of those old school cartoons did have pretty good names, or historic
pretty deep
names.
lore. I think.
Like that's a better way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah, a
and
lot
well
of
thought out names.
Looney Tunes are all like history rips and
Yeah.
just really deep cuts with music too.
Yeah. Truth.
Can you imagine that kind of production anymore? Like, Looney Tunes songs are remarkably hard to play. Like, they're
I
very
didn't know that.
orchestral.
Okay. I think I knew that a little bit, but now, well, because didn't they used to play them in the movie theaters too?
That's right. Yeah.
So sometimes,
Live
yeah.
soundtrack.
So I was like, sometimes I think they had pianos playing along and all those things.
Yeah.
It's a whole
Oh,
different world.
thank you, Joseph. That's exactly what I was talking about. It was a nice and chubby baby. When the whippoorwill, nice and chubby baby.
I was hoping I was going to hear you sing at least once on this, so this is making me very happy.
Oh, it doesn't take much. It really doesn't take much for me to sing at all on here. I'm just reloading my thing here. Oops, closing tabs. Oh, wait, actually, I want to share this. I'm going to share the form to submit words to Culinary Word of the Day so that y'all can participate. Also, the Patreon account that's linked below the video is where you can get a week preview, a week before preview. So I'll be posting all the episodes there before they go to the main feed, and you can also give feedback there and ask questions, and we can answer your questions in our behind the scene podcast.
I think that's like a little one of my end goals, is to see like people interact with us and have other questions besides my own.
Yeah.
To kind of just to see how other people want to interact with the words, like what their viewpoint on it. Like, I think that's gonna be really cool.
And especially if I don't know something, we always ask on the podcast. If you know the answer to this, please write in.
So good. I love it.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun making this podcast. It's just, this extra little bit of press them a little harder into my face. My goodness. Alicia, do you have any questions or thoughts about, I don't know, the process, or for folks out there in the Twitch world?
Well, I have a question actually for you, which I don't think I've asked this yet, which is crazy to me. What has your favorite word been so far? I know. I would say, like, because if you asked me that, I've actually had to give it thought before. So I was like, "Ooh,
how dare you?"
I was saying, put her on the spot a little.
How dare you? I'm going to look at our database.
Look at it up. Cause that's I would have to look too. Because there's like a lot of good ones.
There's a lot of good ones. So I have 2 from season 1 that I thought were, I don't know, kind of changed the way I look at things, which is great. Like, when you learn something new and you incorporate it into your life, like, that's amazing. That's what words can do. Tangzong was one of them, which A, I had not heard of at all. And then B, it is the secret to Japanese shokupan, like Japanese milk bread. You know how it's like so squishy and soft? The reason is there is a tangzong method, or the hot milk method. It's the process of mixing hot milk with some of your dough, and then resting that. And that's like it acts like a starter without fermentation.
Interesting.
Like, you know how sourdough, everybody was doing sourdough during the pandemic? Well, tangzong is a quicker version of that, and it results in a bigger crumb airiness instead of like that sour fermenty taste. It's interesting. And actually, the anime that I've been watching, Yakitate Japan, references it in like the 2nd episode, which is
so cool.
Great. Yeah.
It's like worlds colliding a little bit.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So that was one. Another one that I really appreciated from season 1 is barbacoa.
Yeah.
I know that a bunch of you in the chat have had Chipotle before. And that's probably where a lot of people have learned the word barbacoa. It actually is the root word of barbecue. It is Latin American pit cooking. You literally dig a hole, you start a fire, and you roast a whole bunch of animals over it. And that is the that is the history of barbecue. That's where it comes
Yeah.
from. That's where we get it. And that's why it's so prevalent in the southern United States and the island countries right near us. Amazing.
Yeah, that one was a great word because there's actually a lot of culture that goes into it depending on what country you're in as well, which I thought was
Yeah.
great. It was like, and that's a lot of like the background stuff that doesn't really get talked about in the definition per se, but there's a lot of different places where if you go and get to partake in like the not ceremony, but just having the whole meal,
Ritual.
the
Yeah.
ritual, yeah, it's that I thought was fascinating. I thought that's really cool. I'm happy that I'm learning about this right now.
Yeah. Let's see.
Forgot
In
about that a little bit.
season 2, my favorite word, we haven't gotten to yet.
So should we keep it a
Wait,
secret? I don't know.
no, I can say it. I really love Danger Zone
I do love
because it's another Archer reference.
Yes.
Danger Zone. Kenny Loggins. No, Danger Zone is actually a culinary thing. It's the food safety range, temperature range. So the danger zone is the range that freezers and fridges stop helping you. So fridges and freezers are always at 40 degrees or below. So fridges are like 34 to 40-ish, and then freezers are below that. And the danger zone is 40 to 140 degrees. So if you leave something out, like raw meat, that range of temperature is optimal for mold and bacteria to proliferate. So we always try to keep food out of the danger zone. So it's either heating it to 140 and above or keeping it chilled to 40 and below. Yeah.
That was a great one too. That's a fun word.
Yeah.
Or
And plus you
fun
get to
word.
make a lot of danger zone jokes.
So many. That's
Danger
like
zone.
it's like the best part. I mean, that's once again when the words collide with other stuff. It's great.
I know. It's
That's
very
excellent.
memorable.
Yeah.
It's really funny because before I watched Archer, my little cousin, well, he's not little anymore, he's 30, but but he was a baby. I'm 8 years older. So when he was a baby, he was obsessed with Top Gun.
Really?
And so he would have his little fighter plane. It had a joystick on the back, so you could hit the thumb button and it would make shooty sounds. And it was just a toy, toy plane. And he would just go, danger zone. And just fly it into the couch and like hit people with it.
Yeah, of course.
It's just so funny.
That sounds like a lot of fun now, quite frankly.
Oh wow, that would be a YouTube video. Just running around Central Park in like fighter jet gear with a toy plane going and singing Danger Zone.
And I mean, maybe we could even carry a helpful sign about what the danger zone means for meats and other vegetables, and cross promote a little bit. It'd be great.
Hey, thermometer companies, hit us up.
Yeah,
sponsor us.
We talk about all the different ways you can use them.
Currently, we do not have any sponsors, actually. So,
and there's one fun thermometer too, right? The infrared thermometer.
Oh, infrared thermometers. So, those are really popular now because of COVID.
Right.
So, infrared thermometers use a heat ray or infrared light to read the temperature. So it's like a little laser gun thing.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure you've seen this. People have scanned you before eating at a restaurant or earlier days of the pandemic before you could enter a building. It's an infrared thermometer. It doesn't have a probe like mercury ones do or thermocouple or whatever. But yeah, it's a pretty fun one to use because it's like a laser gun, but do not point it at anyone's eyes.
Ooh,
that is dangerous.
See, that's a good food safety lesson though.
Also, another thing I learned, do not use medical thermometers as food thermometers.
Yes.
Because they can break.
Yeah.
And they're made of glass and they have mercury in them. So food grade thermometers only.
Yeah. And
I'm sorry, you were going to say something.
No, I feel like that's a good warning. I feel like, once again, some things we should reiterate. No, I was going to say, I have danger zone in my head with the infrared thermometer, someone pointing at like their barbecue. And I'm like, we've just now hit all of the major points of this conversation.
Yeah.
And like, that's actually something that could be like really fun to do this weekend. It's Labor Day, go get yourself a little thermometer gun and point at a bunch of food to make sure that it's safe to eat.
The danger zone.
And then sing the song.
Stay out of the danger zone.
See, it's like all good things. All good things.
Wow. 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 I can't believe the hour has almost left us. It's already almost 6. My goodness. Folks, if you have not visited our Culinary Word of the Day website yet, you can go here. I'll paste it again in the chat. We're very excited to present you with more culinary words every Wednesday. You just subscribe and check your feed every Wednesday, and you can listen to us talk about words, hear us laugh about dumb shit.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
It's great.
It's going to be. But,
it's going to be fun. It's really fun. But other ways you can support us, there's a Patreon link below the video. You can rate and review the podcast, give it a little 5-star little buddy on Spotify. Every little bit helps. It's very competitive in the podcast world. I don't think it's very competitive in the Word of the Day world, but there's just a lot of podcasts out there.
Every little bit helps, it's whatever your competition level it is. You still want to be the 5 best stars of it.
Yeah. Also, I was very surprised when I started this 2 years ago. Nobody had done this before. Like, nobody.
I won't lie to you. It is an overwhelming concept.
I think you just described me. I am a very overwhelming concept.
So see, another thing to put in your bio. I like that. It is like an overwhelming concept.
Overwhelming concept, chefiness.
That's excellent.
So good. Tie it all back to the beginning of the show. That's
good.
Very good. Call back.
But there's so many words, and I think actually how to begin is difficult, and I think season 2 is really interesting in your ordering of the words and how you might approach them in the kitchen. I think when you told me about that, I was just like, whoosh, that's amazing. Because I was like, I don't know how you're gonna start. Are you just gonna dive into pastries? I have no idea, what you want to do with this. But when you said that to me, I was like, that's excellent. That's gonna be actually really helpful. And once again, somebody who I do cook but didn't always know what I was doing, I was just like, this is great because I can kind of go along now and be like, oh, if I add this to this, I could round out a meal and make it really delicious, which I didn't fully know. My meal wasn't bad before, but it's now delicious.
It's a little bit better.
It's a little bit better.
Oh, so. I like that. I like it. You're getting ancillary cooking confidence.
Totally.
From the podcast.
Yeah, that's
a really cool side effect of listening or researching words for a podcast. Just I'm just a little bit better in the kitchen now. That's so cool.
I said that to you before. This is a topic. Part of it was when I was thinking about all of this, and before we really started, I was like, this is actually a topic that I'm going to be interested in because it affects my everyday life.
Yeah.
And like I said before, it connects you. Almost every day, you'll probably talk to one other person about food in some capacity.
Yeah.
Oh, do you want a cup of coffee? Oh, what do you have for breakfast? What do you want for dinner? Oh, did you have this new restaurant? Or did you have this some semblance of food probably gets brought up to someone else in your life once a day.
Yeah.
And I was just like, all right, I could learn about food. I could define some words about food, and this will probably help me in the long run, if nothing else, to know a little bit more about culinary stuff.
Oh, that makes me so happy. That's such a good note to end on, I think, also. So, folks, if you want to hear more from us, I put the link in the chat. You can subscribe to the podcast or not, whatever floats your boat. But I'll be back here on Wednesdays in general at 5 p.m. Eastern. Attack the Pantry. I'll answer your cooking questions. You can also tag me on Twitter and Instagram with your cooking photos, and I will do a cute little show and tell slideshow. It's really fun. Wait, actually, I think I have the preview of the last one. You can see it here. I made this dumb graphic.
I like it, actually.
Show and tell time.
Okay, I like it much better with the music version. Yes.
I told you, it doesn't take much for me to sing.
I'm for it.
But yeah, folks, if you want to submit photos to me in show and tell, and we will talk about it, or you can ask me questions and I'll answer it on next time's show. But for now, I think we will say good evening to you all. Let me see if I can set up a raid really quick. Alicia, do you know what a raid is?
I have absolutely no idea.
So when a show ends on Twitch, you have the opportunity to send people to another channel. Like you take your audience and send them to another place. And it's a really fun thing to do because you can discover new channels, you can meet new people, and support other creators. So I always love to send people to the Monterey Bay Aquarium. So folks, that's going to start in a few seconds. If you want to join and watch the Monterey Bay Aquarium's feed, they are very relaxing and super nice. It might be jellyfish tonight. I don't know. It's really cool. But thank you all for joining, and we will see you next time here on Attack Pantry. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Alicia, you can stick around. I'm gonna
Fair enough.
I'm gonna awkwardly put up my goodbye screen.
Okay.
Okay. Bye, everybody. We'll see you later.